Shalom Akim, Yahweh Ba'ashem, Yahushai Ba'ashem Kwakadash. Double honors and salutations to the elders and apostles of Grove Stone Rule Well, and I can preaching the word of the Lord there by Shema and sincerity and truth. Alright, just gonna get into the lesson real quick. So this those two Edomites, right? The Edomite couple that got harassed with their property in Missouri, right, during the so-called protests. You see all those protesters on their properties. So they spoke at the Republican National Convention, all right, and they got some words. I'll just play some portion of the clip, and I get another lesson. Well, another video.
Good evening, America. We are Mark and Patty McCloskey. We're speaking to you tonight from St. Louis, Missouri, where just weeks ago you may have seen us defending our home as a mob of protesters descended on our neighborhood.
America is such a great country that not only do you have the right to own a gun and use it to defend yourself, but thousands of Americans will offer you free advice on how to use it. At least that's what we experienced. What you saw happen to us could just as easily happen to any of you who are watching from quiet neighborhoods around our country. And that's what we want to speak to you about tonight.
That's exactly right. Whether it's the defunding of police, ending cash bail so criminals can be released back out on the streets the same day to riot again, or encouraging anarchy and chaos on our streets, it seems as if the Democrats no longer view the government's job as protecting honest citizens from criminals, but rather protecting criminals from honest citizens. Not a single person in the out-of-control mob you saw at our house was charged with a crime. But you know who was? We were. They've actually charged us with felonies for daring to defend our home.
And that's what's going to look like, throughout the United States, right? When these elites are able to get their foothold in every corridor of government, every institution. All right, so that's their goal, to make sure that American people get criminalized for defending themselves against unscrupulous entities, or whether they're criminals or whether they're so-called funded protesters. That's the goal. So they're going to, pass laws to criminalize owning weapons, and they're going to pass laws, to make the police, be exempt from being sued when they fail to show up. All right, they're going to make that possible, and that's the reason why you hear that idea about defunding the police and all that. So we already knew it was going to happen. We know all the prophesied about it, and then when the men of the law talk about it, say, "Oh well, it's hate speech." You have your videos taken down, you get put on the so-called watch list. All right, but that's all part of the journey. It's part of the agenda the Lord by Shema set before us, and these people believing that their vote is going to make a difference. It's not. All right, so I'm going to get a quick precept here from the book of Proverbs chapter 25, verse 19. All right, it says, confidence in an unfaithful man in time of trouble is like a broken tooth and a foot out of joint. And that's the reason why America has fallen apart, because there are no faithful men that could deliver this nation, man, because they're not in the position to. All right, so all you have in your so-called government are just entities, man, puppets that mean evil upon the people. They're not there to make sure the people prosper. They're there to do the will of their so-called puppet masters. All right, and that's what it boils down to. All right, so no matter how many times these people vote, whether it's in local, municipal, or statewide or national elections, it doesn't change anything, because the same old policies are going to be pushed. Either they push it directly, or they've got to do it indirectly. All right, so these elites have different methods of getting their points across. All right, so just imagine when they're able to ban people from protecting themselves, whether they have guns or not, crossbows or sticks and stones and all that. It's gonna be chaotic, all right, in the streets. You hear about prisoners being let out of prison, then within 24 hours they commit murder, all right? They commit all types of crimes and atrocities. So that's the path America is heading towards. And don't be a fool. The Republicans have their own dirt. The same people that are gonna push for more military on the streets. You see the same people, all right? The same people that voted for extension of war into Afghanistan, into Iraq, and all that. The same people, all right? So Democrats and Republicans are just different sides of the same coin, and the folks that see it don't want no parts of it. That's why it's hard for other parties to gain a foothold in the building, because they're totally dominating the whole scenario. Republicans and Democrats, right? Because their money comes from the same source, all right. Their agenda comes from the same source, all right. These so-called elites that run Wall Street, all right. So it's beautiful, man. You understand that it's all prophecy coming to pass. So I'll just play a few more of this speech.
On top of that, consider this. The Marxist liberal activist leading the mob to our neighborhood stood outside our home with a bullhorn screaming, "You can't stop the revolution." Just weeks later, that same Marxist activist won the Democrat nomination to hold a seat in the U.S. House of Representatives. In the city of St. Louis, that's the same as winning the general election. That Marxist revolutionary is now going to be the Congresswoman from the 1st District of Missouri. These radicals are not content with marching in the streets. They want to walk the halls of Congress. They want to take over. They want power. This is Joe Biden's party.
Yeah, and you can imagine, whether it's Joe Biden or not, it's still the same thing. All right, just like Homeland Security got created. What do you expect? Or just TSA got created. So it's all about big government. That's exactly what both parties are about, man. Big government, big government. They tell you one thing and then they do another thing. They tell you, well, we're going to do this to make the people whole, but then they end up making things worse, all right? So another precept is going to be from the book of Isaiah chapter 30, because our people are going to get caught up in the crossfire. When they have this political, mudslinging, taking place, our people are going to get caught up in it. The ones that think they're part of the solution to make America better, they're going to get caught up in it, and then they're going to become a cannon fodder, all right? So this is Isaiah chapter 30, I'm going to read verse 1. It says, "Woe to the rebellious children," that's our people, said the Lord Yahweh, "that take counsel, but not of me, and that cover with a covering, but not of my spirit, that they may add sin to sin." All right, so it's a sin for our people to be participating in all this political, process, man. It's not of our nation to be part of it. But when our people think that the Lord Shema Shai is not acting quick enough, is not doing things to suit our needs, all of a sudden they lose patience. All right, and then they go along with the system, and when they get destroyed, they start shouting, "Oh God, oh God, oh God, oh God," pray for me, pray for me, pray for me. But there's nothing you can do, man. You can't pray for folks like that. You just have to let them suffer their judgment, all right? Verse 2 now says, that walk to go down into Egypt, and have not asked at my mouth, to strengthen themselves in the strength of Pharaoh, and to trust in the shadow of Egypt. And that's what's going on with our people. They're always about that American, ideology. America, the land of the great, America, the land of milk and honey, America, the exceptional nation, and all that stuff. It's just terrible, man. It's just terrible when the Lord Yahweh Shema Shai sees the confusion that our people love to take part in. All right, and That's why they're not going to be defended, man, in these last days, because they chose to go with a different government. They don't want to go along with the plan of the Lord by Shema Shai for righteousness. All right, they're always getting caught up with the feelings. Obama did this, Bush did that. My father was a Republican. My grandfather was a Republican. We're a Republican family. We're blue dog Democrats. I'm like, yeah, about silver and silk, or whatever. Yeah, it's so sad, that our people are stuck in that mindset of of Republicans and Democrats, man. So you just expect judgment to come hard upon them. Okay, verse 3 now says, "Therefore shall the strength of Pharaoh be your shame, and the trust in the shadow of Egypt your confusion." So a lot of our people are going to get caught up in this nonsense of voting, and they're going to suffer. They're going to suffer for it, thinking that Democrats had their best interests at heart, Republicans had their best interests at heart. All right, they're going to suffer daily for it, and they think that all this job creation and all this access to credit and capital is going to make their lives better. It's just what you call shut up, shut up goodies or shut up money. Hush money. Go sit down in the corner and suck on a pacifier. All right, that's exactly what it is. They keep yelling about jobs and jobs and jobs. So when they get a job, they're able to buy an apartment, buy a house, get vehicles and all that, invest, and then they think that's the end of it all. But that's not. All right, so that's the wrong impression. All right, that they're having, and the Lord Yahweh Shema Shai is going to prove that to them very soon. So this Ecclesiastes chapter 7 verse 7 says, "Surely oppression maketh a wise man mad, and a gift destroyeth the heart." All right, and that's what our people are going to find out, that we're heading into the times of oppression. Right now, they're able to, collect money from corporations to sponsor legislation and put their name on it. When all hell breaks loose, that's their behind. All right, just like you see the video of Senator Rand Paul and his wife from Kentucky when they were in the district being heckled and followed around by protesters. Yeah, so I expect that to be the norm in these last days. All right, and it's going to get worse. Okay. So just imagine when there is no police detail, there is no security detail. What's going to happen? All right, because these protesters can't do what? They can't police themselves. All right. So let me just play some more.
These are the people who will be in charge of your future and the future of your children.
They're not satisfied with spreading the chaos and violence into our communities. They want to abolish the suburbs altogether by ending single-family home zoning. This forced rezoning would bring crime, lawlessness, and low-quality apartments into now thriving suburban neighborhoods. President Trump smartly ended this government overreach, but Joe Biden wants to bring it back. These are the policies that are coming to a neighborhood near you. So make no mistake, no matter where you live, your family will not be safe in the radical Democrats' America.
At this moment in history, if you stand up for yourself and for the values our country was founded on, the mob, spurred on by their allies in the media, will try to destroy you. You've seen.
All right. So Proverbs chapter 18 verse 10 says, "The name of the Lord Yahweh is a strong tower." All right. The name of the Lord Yahweh Shema Shai Shema Kokodash is a strong tower. The righteous runneth into it and is safe. All right. And that's for the elect of the nation of Israel. All right. Those that have been deemed for salvation, they're going to be protected in the last days. All right. When all this madness is taking place, just like you read in 2nd Ezra chapter 15, 2nd Ezra chapter 16. All right. You're going to see how the Lord Yahweh Shema Shai is going to protect you. All right. So don't be afraid, man. You're going to get nervous from time to time. But when the Lord Yahweh Shema Shai reveals his power, then your confidence is going to be boosted up. Okay. So always remember that.
us on your TV screens and Twitter feeds, you know that we're not the kind of people who back down. Thankfully, neither is Donald Trump. President Trump will defend the God-given right of every American to protect their homes and their families. But more than that, Trump's vision for America is a country where you have an opportunity to work hard and build the life you dream of with a job you love.
Well, but those jobs are not coming back, all right? New York City is basically gone. California is basically done, all right? So when from the sea to the shining sea is going down the drain, there's nothing you can do about it, all right? Because America's collapse is intentional, okay? It's being brought down from within, all right? You can't say it's the Chinese that's destroying America, that they want setting America's policy, all right? It's just the politicians in there and the elites, you know? They are the ones turning America upside down, all right? And when you talk about it, they think you're just spreading lies and spreading falsehoods and all that, and then, you know, they seek their millions on you. All right, you know, so it comes with the territory when you're preaching the gospel. You just have to be honest about the word, all right? So our final precept here is from the book of Deuteronomy, what the Lord Yahweh Shema Shai told us about setting up our own government, all right? So this Deuteronomy chapter 17, I'm going to read verse 14 and 15. It says, when thou art come unto the land which the Lord, the power, hath given thee, and shall possess it, and shall dwell therein, and shall say, I will set a king over me, like as all the nations that are about me. Then, thou shalt in any wise set him king over thee, whom the Lord thy power shall choose. One from among thy brethren shalt thou set king over thee. All right. So all these people of our nation, the Israelites, always voting for Edomites and all these heathens to be over us. They're going to be jacked up, all right? And the Lord says, thou mayest not set a stranger over thee, which is not thy brother. So by them doing that, they become strangers to the Lord. And that's why Jake is always getting shut up in the street, because they always want to go along with Esau's political system, rather than trust in the Lord Yahweh Shema Shaba Shema Kwakadash. All right. So when our people get jacked up, the prophets don't really feel sad. All right, the men of the Lord don't really feel sad for them, because that's what they deserve. All right, by thinking that America is going to protect them. All right, by thinking that the political system is going to uplift them out of their shithole that they're in. All right. So our people need to wake up. All right. So at the end of the day, this word of the Lord there about Shema Shai is going to set our people on the straight path. All these voting Democrats, voting Republican, voting Green Party this and Libertarian this, Libertarian that's not going to work, because it's all useless. All right. So that's the point there, Hakim. Hope you've been edified, and don't get distracted by all these political, tactics, or this political comedy that you see before you. It's not really going to change anything, because the Lord Yahweh Shema Shai is deemed it to be worthless. All right? Shalom.